Yes.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Sohail and I work at Sinopark Center for Artificial Intelligence. So a brief about my institute. So Park Austria Fachhochschule, this is an institute of applied sciences and technology established in Haripur, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Pakistan in 2018. And first of all, let me just briefly introduce my institute. Dr. Hisham and Dr. Makbul are my colleagues. So it is a collaboration between Pakistan and Austria. Austria, you might know, it's a country near Germany in Central Europe. And in this collaboration, we have established an institute called Fachhochschule. So Fachhochschule is a type of an institute which has a very high focus on subjects, technical subjects where the training is being carried out. So this is the theme of the whole university. So the university is doing fundamental sciences research as well, but our undergraduate education particularly is based on Fachhochschule model. So more information you can find on internet. What does it mean Fachhochschule in German-speaking countries? So you will get to know that how they develop capacity for their industries and so on. So we are basically trying to replicate the same idea here in Pakistan. So at our institute, we have several center for excellence, which are called research centers, where we do fundamental research, applied research. One is railway engineering, where we have people, especially from the railway ministry, doing their master degrees and research as well. Then we have a center about food technologies. We have a center about artificial intelligence, which I'm representing here. And then fourth is the Center of Mineral Resource Engineering, which is stationed at our institute. So for each center, we have signed memorandum of understandings. These are the basic ones that we have signed. We are in process of signing many. We have signed as well many. And basically, the idea is that the international collaborators participate in kind to support the academic programs at the institute. So Sinopark Center for Artificial Intelligence consists have a number of labs, research labs. We say they and each lab has their own PI. You are invited to explore more on the university website. So I will talk about more about smart city and urban planning lab today. So the title of my presentation is the role of artificial intelligence in addressing global energy challenge and reaching net zero emission targets. So if we look at what's happening globally is that if we look at this graph, so it is from September 20 to September 22. So this is basically the graph is showing how the energy prices are growing. So energy prices are growing exponentially. Uh, and this is a major global energy challenge as well. And as we see that this is reflected in the fuel costs in Pakistan as well. So energy costs globally is increasing. It's not only Pakistan. And that is a main challenge because this limits our energy consumption that we need for critical travel, mobility, for heating, for cooking, for so on. So energy is not only related to electricity, energy is also related to gas. So anything that can power our society is an energy. So this global crisis has basically impacted our society and is increasingly impacting us day by day. So we first of all have to understand the problem, which is with the energy that it's becoming less and less affordable for the general public. In addition, there are other challenges as well. One of the major challenge that we have is the climate change. So climate change expects that from 2030 to 2052, there will be 1.5 degrees centigrade rise overall around the world, which will basically, United Nations estimate it could lead to $54 trillion loss in the global economy. And we can also see that Pakistan will have a lot of challenges while dealing with the climate change. So if we only look in the United States in 2020 alone, there were 22 climate disasters, so costing them $95 billion. Even in Pakistan, there were floods and so on. So this is also impacting us. Then, for instance, there is a lot of people who could get displaced, and this displacement we have saw in Pakistan when the flood came. So a lot of areas got affected in South Punjab, in Sindh, and so on. So there was a lot of displacement of people as well. So these are the challenges which are being experienced by our people, and this is what we should start thinking about, that how we can address it. So there are a number of ways by which artificial intelligence could be used in the energy domain. So I will talk about each of this domain one by one. Of course, each topic in itself is quite a research area where you can spend your whole life, for instance. But the idea of this presentation is to give you a general flavor or general idea about what are the possibilities. So energy efficiency, if we say what is energy efficiency means that you are efficient with your energy usage, right? So you do the same things but with less amount of energy. So where you consume your energy, mostly we are working in buildings, right? For the people who are doing white collar jobs. So in the buildings, we consume energy in the form of light, in the form of air conditioning, in the form of you know other things that we operate like computers and so on. So, building energy management system and artificial intelligence involved in building energy management system can basically help us control energy consumption. Then, for instance, in transportation, although in Pakistan it's not it has not happened yet that the transportation is electrified, but considering the global market, transportation in the developed countries is getting electrified, and there as well artificial intelligence can play an important role. We will see how, but this is an area of interest. Of course, industry is something that is the very resource hungry, energy hungry, and there as well, you can have a lot of space where you can improve the energy efficiency. So further developing, for instance, there are some technologies which address this area like smart thermostat, preventive maintenance, and energy management system. So these are the topics in which artificial intelligence have found their application and are supporting the existing progress. So according to the study by American Council of Energy Efficient Economy, AI-enabled energy management system in commercial building can reduce energy consumption by up to 20%. Right? So this means that you get lighting where you need, you monitor your energy consumption more accurately, you turn off the appliances that are not contributing to the building or the well-being of the people or the inhabitants' satisfaction is not much influenced. So by covering this social aspect in the energy management system, which is the human satisfaction, artificial intelligence can help to reduce the building energy consumption. So I will give you an example that the traditional methods of air conditioning is that we need to maintain a certain room temperature no matter what, no matter there are one people, there are five people, there are 10 people or 50 people in the room, we will maintain the same temperature. Now this is a very uh, you know um, conservative approach because it takes a lot of energy and we might not need it. So it's highly likely that if there are sensors in the room which can detect that okay, the temperature is good enough for a person, and we don't need to really push it down, and there is certain occupancy level in the building or a room or certainly, so the air conditioning could be really controlled in a sense. So I'm talking about smart buildings here, which are not necessarily not to, needed to be very smart in terms of construction technology, but as a researcher you can start thinking about how I can put sensors in a building that basically monitors the number of occupants in different halls or rooms and actual temperature experienced by the people, right? So if that could be measured, then this, if you connect it with for instance, the air conditioning system of the building, you can reduce energy. Then, for instance, you can also reduce the global energy demand. Yeah, this is the same thing, right? So basically, you bring in another variable into the loop, which is called inhabitant satisfaction or customer satisfaction, for instance. And then you basically you take it to the limit where the customer is satisfied, but it's not. I mean, he's not overly satisfied. He's satisfied somehow. So there is a big gap. In Pakistan, this is globally, but in Pakistan, I think you can save up to 40% of your energy costs by just or 50% of energy costs by taking the social aspect into the analysis and using AI. Another area where AI could be relevant is the whole energy network, which includes wind power generation, solar power generation could be connected to the grid, but mostly it is thermal power plant or hydroelectric power plant, uh, putting into the energy that is basically consumed in different parts of the society and so on. So so artificial intelligence here could be used, for instance, for forecasting the renewable energy generation, for identifying the faults in the network, for power system planning, for variety of applications. You can start thinking about how you can use AI for energy management systems within the power network. So for a reference, I will give you some pointers. For instance, International Renewable Energy Agency published that AI can help increase the global share of renewable energy from 26% to 80%. And this will happen in a variety of ways. It could be improved forecasting. It could be improved, state of the grid estimation, right? So the more you know about your system, the more confident you will be about renewable energy. And the more confident you will be about renewable energy, the more share you can bring into the grid. So currently, for instance, in Pakistan, if I say that uh, WAPDA, for instance, limit the number of connections of that feed into the grid, it's because they are unaware that if, let's say, 10% of the population start feeding into the grid, what will happen to the grid? If they are more confident, if they know that even if we give 20% of the people licenses to feed into the grid, we will still survive. If they know this confidence, then of course they will allow in legislation that more people can connect to the grid, even for using single phase meter and so on. Right. So until we have grid level studies and until we use AI at the grid level, we cannot we can actually increase the confidence of energy companies in integrating the renewable energy in the grid. Then, for instance, Danish energy company said that AI can be used to predict wind energy and optimize the output of offshore wind farms at least by 15%. So this is also something where we see the application of artificial intelligence. Now I will give you an overview of several projects that we are undertaking. One project is the energy management system we have installed in our premises and we are developing on it. Is having different modules. We have a forecasting module, data logging module, building controller, and so on. And the idea is that we develop an intelligent occupancy building occupancy system where we control the energy consumption in a way that leads to more sustainable and energy efficient solution. So we are open for students who are interested in this topic. They can contact me as well, right? And then we also are working on basically using artificial intelligence in order to estimate what's going to be tomorrow. So is it going to be a sunny day or is it going to be a cloudy day? And the advantage of this project is that once we know what will happen tomorrow, we can plan accordingly. Once we know that what is our situation that's going to be, we can plan accordingly. So this is one of the projects that we are conducting. So the idea is that if we have a highly accurate solar forecast, then we can provide it as a service to industries and households who can use this information in order to self-optimize, right? And distribution companies or energy companies that I was talking about, they can, if they know very accurately what will be the power generation from the renewable energy plant, they will have much more easier job in integrating the power generated by that resource and so on. So with this, I will conclude. And We are open for collaboration. We are open for students interested in internship, not only in energy lab, but in all the other labs. So if you happen to have